As a 20-year-old man, I'm a bit too old for sleepovers, but I have a duty to fulfill, and thus, here we are. I'm your host Youssef, and these are 10 scary sleepover stories that will make your blanket float. Make sure you subscribe and ring that bell to get notified whenever we upload a new video. Anyways, let's get sleepy. Number 10, Interrogated. From Redditor Just Bronze Stuff. I was at this guy's birthday party and he invited me to sleep over. After everyone left, he locked his door and got a military flashlight and a camera. The dude proceeded to interrogate me at very private or uncomfortable levels, and every time I refused to answer, he'd hit me with the flashlight. He had to take a leak and locked the door on the way out, leaving me locked in. I didn't have a cell phone at the time, but he did have a phone there. I left a desperate voicemail at my house and hoped for the best. It took my mom 3 hours to listen and go pick me up. By the time she arrived, I was scared, bruised, and crying. It was one of the worst experiences of my life. Number 9, Home Invasion. From Redditor K. Iller Orange Cat, my friend Bobby's mother would not let him come over and spend the night, but she told him it was alright if I came over and spent the night with him. I was really in the mood for a sleepover, so I went ahead and did it. I woke up feeling thirstier than I ever could have imagined. Getting up, I stumbled out of bed and downstairs while not turning on any light at all. When I walked into the kitchen, I turned on the light. Immediately, I saw a huge man at the far window. Actually, he was going through the window. He was half in and half out. I was terrified, but before the guy could get all the way through the window, I screamed and ran in the other direction and ran back upstairs, back to Bobby's mother's room. I pounded on the door. Bobby had woken up and he came into the hallway before his mom had opened the door. Finally, the door opened. She looked at us and then suddenly passed us. Both Bobby and I turned and noticed the man reaching the top of the stairs. Quickly, she ushered us into the room and locked the door. She called 911 and then grabbed her gun from the closet. She told the guy who was now rattling the door that she had a gun and would use it. That didn't deter him until she fired off a shot, and he ran off. Number 8, Not So Secret Admirer. From Redditor Torvan, some friends and I were staying at another friend's house. I'm a girl for context. One of my friends, I'll call her Steph, was always very open to the fact that she thought I was smoking hot. I felt a bit weirded out sometimes because I wasn't sure if she was being serious or not. I didn't mind whether or not she liked me, but sometimes it would get a little too much and she'd say things like, "Oh, the things I do to you." So at this sleepover, Steph, our other friends, and I began to play a game. It started off as a bit of fun, but soon Steph started to get rough and would tackle me to the ground and pin me there. I was genuinely a little bit scared, and the other girls started to notice that it was a little bit too close for comfort. So we did what we had to do. We each grabbed one of Steph's limbs and proceeded to tie her arms behind her back and her legs together. It took a good 20 minutes because Steph is very strong and quite persistent. Eventually we managed to keep her down and we proceeded to watch television. That is until somehow Steph managed to escape. This was like a horror film stuff. We all ran upstairs, the 3 other girls made it to a bedroom and I ran into the bathroom. I locked myself inside and Steph started banging on the door. I don't know how long I was in there for, but it started to get bright and Steph was outside the whole time, waiting for me to come out. I slept in the bathtub that night. Number 7, Imaginary Intruder. From Redditor Bubblegum B-Word, I spent the night at my friend Brittany's house with a bunch of other girls in our class. After her parents went to bed, one of the girls told a really scary story about an intruder breaking into the house and removing everyone's free trial of life. Suddenly, we heard noises from outside. It was probably the house settling in retrospect, and we all raced to the downstairs bathroom and stuffed ourselves in it, locking the doors behind us. So there were about 5 girls in this bathroom for God knows how long. We were all whimpering and scared. Eventually, one of the girls had to use the bathroom, and pretty soon the toilet is full with all of our waste and we're too scared to flush it. Number 6, Not Invited. From Diadact YT, one of my friends had a sleepover birthday party. It was pretty normal stuff. About 30 minutes after everyone had gotten there, someone knocked on the door. A kid whose parents were friends with my friend's parents. Apparently he didn't have a lot of friends, so he got invited. It only took a few minutes to realize why he didn't have many friends. He was mean, physical, and would try to one-up everyone. A little later in the night, we decided to wrestle each other. That's when the night took a dark turn. He punched one of the kids in the groin, so one of the other guys went up to him and gave him a swift punch to the sternum. He fell straight to the ground. For the rest of the night, the kid didn't say a word to anyone and hid in the basement for most of the night. Number 5. Strict rules. From Neapolitan Mew, I went to my friend's house for the first time as she wanted to come to my house, not the other way around. However, she had never told me why. I was about to learn the truth the hard way. So I got there, and after the first hour, it all went downhill. The parents had strict rules about eating at the table. They proceeded to insult me about my weight to the point I nearly cried. After that, they continued to ask me questions about my race and my family. By the time night came, I found out they had a lockdown rule in their house. We weren't allowed out of the bedroom until morning. I didn't know that and ended up getting lectured the next morning. I also didn't know that I would be forced to attend their church in the morning before I could go home. That's how I figured out why she always wanted to stay at my house and not the other way around. Number 4. Not a role model. From Himalayan Doobie, one night I stayed over at my friend's house and his dad, who was an alcoholic, was really angry and got angrier as he drank more. We could hear him upstairs swearing and banging stuff around and stomping on the floor. After a while, he came downstairs and started yelling at my friend for something he did wrong. A few seconds later, he pushed my friend across the room. Hard. My friend looked like he was hurt badly. Then his dad came charging over and dragged me towards the hallway closet and threw me in there. He told me to keep my mouth shut and to let this be a lesson for hanging around his son. A few hours later, the noise stopped. I tried escaping, but somehow he locked the door and I didn't want to bang on it because I thought he was going to hurt me. I just sat there crying for what felt like forever. Eventually the door opened and it was my friend telling me to hurry up and leave. Luckily, I didn't have far to get home. Number 3. Haunted tea set. From Interrogated 2, my friend's mom was into all those weird ghost hunting and Bigfoot shows, so over dinner she made me watch one where people went around communicating with ghosts. I was really young and had never seen anything like that before, so I believed her mom telling me it was real. I also believed her when she said the silver tea set on the dresser is haunted by my grandmother. I've seen her ghost cleaning it at night. Their house had a creepy old style feel to it too, so I was terrified to sleep. After I finally fell asleep, I was awoken suddenly by the sound of silverware rattling outside the door. I'll never forget the feeling of being frozen in fear like that. Number 2. Rumors. From Soy Brookie, I slept at the popular girl's house who lived across the road from the school. Dinner was good, we got to have ice cream afterwards, and I loved staring at the fire in her fireplace. There was a rumor at school that her older brother and sister had tried to end a kid by pushing him into a pit at a house party. I don't know if it was true or not, but as a kid, it was in the back of my mind. We went to sleep at around 9:30 p.m., which was quite early for me. I woke up a few hours later sweating with a warm pressure on my chest. I was freaked out. I couldn't see what it was right away, then I realized it was their cat, curled up under my chin and purring. It really spooked me, so I had their mom drop me back home in the middle of the night. Number 1. Lonely Granny. I stayed over at my best friend's house for almost every week when I was in elementary school. Their grandmother lived with them and everyone treated her like a burden. They told me she was crazy and mean, but she was always very kind to me. And because I was raised to be nice to my elders, I was kind in return. One day when my friend had to go to talk to her mom about something, the grandma asked me into her room. I had never been in there and it was decorated completely differently from the rest of the house. I could tell she had moved an entire house's worth of stuff into one bedroom. I can't remember our conversation, but she gave me a little metal bracelet and asked me to hide it from the family. I was scared to wear it as I didn't want my friend to get mad. Thanks for watching. Those were 10 scary sleepover stories that will make your blanket float. Leave a like and comment if we missed anything, and we hope you have a scary day.